Hey everybody. Hi Angela. It was so nice to see you this morning. Sorry I couldn't talk, but it was so lovely to see you. Hi Helen. Hi Lucy. Just going to give it a few moments. Hope everybody's well and looking after themselves. I'm just going to move my camera down a wee bit. That's better. Sorry about the noise in the background. We just have the shop open, so we've got a few customers. So sorry about that. Okay, what's the time? While we're waiting, if anybody hasn't cut out their pieces, you could go ahead and cut those out. So these are what we're cutting out. So out of your pattern paper, if you haven't cut those out, we can cut those out while we're waiting. Hi Rabina, it's nice to see you again. So you should have 5 cutouts there. If you haven't, go ahead and cut those out while we wait. Okay, so let's get started. So this is our card today. So it's a little pocket one and it's got a little pull out card on there. So this little card pulls out and it actually holds the rest of your card nice and closed. So this card here pops into those little corners and just holds your card closed so you can't open it. So that one pops out. On the inside here we have a little pocket and you could put a little note in there, or you could just put one of these little pieces in there. Hi Juanita. And this one here has got another little pocket on the inside, so it's got these little bits here, so you can actually put a little gift card or a little bit of money or something in there if you wanted to. So that one is a gift card, little card. So we've got 2 sort of cards to do today. So what I'll get you to do is grab your 12 by 12 white card, and I just want you to cut that border off. So cut it down to 12 by 12. Make sure you've got that off.
I think the ones that
Okay, so we've got, so that now measures 12 by 12. So what we're going to do is cut this piece now down to 5 by 10. So bring it to 5 first. So 5 inches there. And then turn it round and do 10 inches. There we go. So 5 by 10. I'm just going to defluff again. Okay, so if you've got one of these scoreboards, I want you to turn over your little blue mat here so that we've got that edge there to push against. If you don't have one of these, then we're just going to score it along the long side. So bring the long side to the top there, and we want to score it at 2.5 and 7.5. So 2.5 and 7.5. Now if you don't have one of these boards, you can still score it. Just bring it over to 2.5 first and just score down in that groove, and then bring it to 7.5 and score it down in that groove as well. So that's how you do it on both of the boards. So we're going to fold those down now. So don't forget where we've got the little groove where you've scored it. You sometimes have a little groove and the other side has got a bit of a raised area. We're going to fold it down on that, so that indented piece is the one that's facing you, and then we're going to fold it that way there. So that gives you a really nice smooth fold line there. Hello Sue, it's nice to see you. So I'm just going to push those down a bit, or burnish those down a bit so it's nice and tight there. Now, that's our card base for our first card. Now, if you have a corner rounder, you just want to corner round these edges. If you don't have a corner rounder, don't worry, you can just keep them nice and square. So I'm just going to corner round those pieces there. Don't worry if you don't have one, it's perfectly fine just to leave them square. Okay, so there we go. So we've got that first one there. Now, if you haven't cut out your little bits and pieces, I want you to go ahead and cut out these pieces here. So these 5 pieces here are what we need to cut out of our pattern paper first. So we have to cut those out first so that whatever's left over is what we've got left to do our card with. So I'm just going to cut off my border there so I'm not getting the wrong measurements. There we go. So with whatever leftover paper you've got, you want to make it a little bit smaller than this one here, so that bit there will probably fit nicely. So if you need a measurement, I'll just cut mine down and I'll give you a measurement for that. Just grab my pencil. Okay. So the first measurement for that bit will be 4 7/8. So just cut down there at 4 7/8. We're going to flip it around and we're going to cut it to 4 7/8 again. So 4 7/8 square. I ordered all these trimmer blades and they told me the other day that they've lost my shipment, so now I've got even worse blades and I still can't get my blades in. So I've had to reorder everything, so everything's going to be a bit later than what we'd planned now. Okay, now we're not going to stick this one down to our card just yet. We want to do a bit more on there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Now this piece that we've done, hi Jocelyn, it's wonderful to see you. It's very good to see you here. So this piece is going to go into the center there. Now before we stick that down, we want to put our little border on there. So go ahead and grab your little flourish there, and hopefully all the little bits and pieces have been poked out. So this piece here just gets glued into the middle of that one there. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. I prefer glue for these because then we can make sure every little bit is glued down nice and tight. There we go. So just in the middle, so just eyeball it if you want, or you can measure it up, totally up to you. Okay, so we should all have that now. There we go. Oh, have you got some? You're so lucky, Angela. I've had that blade on that board for about 3 months now, and it's just really, I've tried to sharpen it and everything, but it's just come to the end of its life, I think. Okay, so what we're going to do now is this little piece in the middle there, we want to cut that out. So just grab a cutting board and a craft knife if you've got one there. And we're just going to cut that little bit out in the middle, so that's going to make our pocket. So if you need to use a ruler, then go right ahead, or just cut it out as best you can with your hands. There we go. So that little bit just comes out of the center there. I haven't quite cut through that bit there. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be our little pocket for whatever you want to pop in there. You could pop anything in there that you wanted. Okay, so there we have that there. Right, so this piece now is going to go into the center of our card. Now you do want to just put tape around the 4 sides. You don't want to put anything down the bottom here because we actually want to be able to pop something in there to make it a pocket. So just go ahead and put tape around the 4 outside bits, and then you can pop that down onto the middle of your card. So I've just got to find my tape now. What have I done with my tape? There it is. So just around all 4 sides on the back. There we go. Okay, so that goes down in the middle. So I'm having my flourishy bit down the bottom. You could have it that way up if you wanted. I just prefer mine at the bottom, but you can do whatever you like with that one. So that just goes in the center there. Okay, so this one here that you've cut out, hopefully you cut out that earlier, that just pops in there, and that's just going to be a little something extra there. Okay, so we need to put some paper on the front now. So whatever leftover pattern paper you've got, we're just going to cut it so it's a little bit smaller than these two front flaps here. So I'll just measure mine up and give you a measurement for that if you need that. So we do want a little bit of a white border around the outside. So it's going to measure 4 7/8 by, where's my pencil? I've got to find my pencil mark now. Oh, there it is. By 2 1/4. So you need 2 of those. So 2 pieces measuring 4 7/8 by 2 1/4. So cut 2 of those out of whatever leftover pattern paper you've got. So 2 1/4 by 3 2 1/4. What was it again? By 4 7/8. Now, if you have a corner rounder, you can go ahead and just corner round two of the edges. It's not perfect, but it's looking a bit better than it was. Just might do this one as well. I hope everybody's well, enjoying the sun. We've got a beautiful day here in Tauranga. Stunning. Okay, so I'm just going to corner around 2 edges on each of these pieces. And I'm going to do that on the other one as well. There we go. So I can move that out of the way now. Okay, so these 2 pieces here are going to go on the front there. So they'll just be a little bit smaller. So you've got that white border around there again. And I'm just lining up my rounded edges of my pattern paper with my rounded edges of my white paper. It is pretty cold here, and nowhere near as cold as what you have down there, Juanita, but my daughter woke up to a complete blanket of frost this morning. We're up on a hill, so we don't get a lot of frost very much, which is great. Although I have to confess, I am definitely a winter person. I way prefer the cold to the heat. Okay, so use glue or tape, whichever you prefer, and we're just going to pop those onto the front panels there. Keep losing my tape today. There it is. Hi Sandy, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, right, so that one just goes on one of your panels there. There we go, and the other one will go on there like that one. So I'm just going to put some more tape on there. Just for those that wonder about tape and glue, I like to use tape just for the purpose that I can take it off again if I need to move anything. If you prefer glue, then please go ahead, right ahead and use it. I just prefer the tape so that if I do make a mistake, which I do, as you saw last week in my video, I just like to be able to move it and take it off if we need to. I use glue a lot when I'm sticking down something that needs to be stuck really, really well, like something that's moving on a card or a scrapbook page or something heavy. Here we go. So we've got our front panels on there now and our bit in the middle there. So if you need me to slow down, please let me know. Sometimes when I'm here on my own, I don't realise how fast I can go sometimes. Right, so now what we're going to do is our little booklet. So we're going to take this piece now and we're going to do this because we need to have that piece to help us line up our corners. So that little booklet there now, I want you to take your white leftover cardstock and I want you to trim that down. Let me just check my measurements here. What am I doing here? Okay. So, sorry guys, I'm just going to check where my measurements are. Okay, 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. So this white piece here is 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. So we go 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, and we're going to fold that piece in half. So the halfway point is 3 1/4. So you can score it there or just fold it in half, whichever you prefer. Here we go. So this is going to be our little voucher or our little gift card booklet there. So I'm just going to corner around these corners here. Don't worry if you don't have a corner rounder, you don't have to do it. Hi Christine, lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well. Here we go. So I've just corner rounded those little bits there. So now this piece here, we're just going to stick this one here that we've cut out earlier straight onto the front there. So glue or tape, whichever you prefer. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I just got a phone call on my phone. So just put some tape around the back there and we're just going to pop that onto the front of our little card. There we go. Okay, so that one's just going to go right in the center there. And hopefully you've got a little butterfly that you've cut out too that we're going to pop on the front. Here we go. So just in the center there. Now we do have a little butterfly that we've hopefully cut out earlier, so I'm just going to fold him up on his wings and put a little bit of glue just down on that body there. And I'm just going to put that right over the top of our little butterfly on the front there. Here we go. Okay, so that's our little booklet done on the outside. So what we're going to do now is this inside piece. So I'm just going to show you how to do these little corner ends there. So grab whatever leftover whatever leftover white card that you've got there. And we want to cut those ones. Let me check. Okay, so we want to cut 2 pieces to measure 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. There we go. So 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. So we need 2 of those pieces. There we go. Now these 2 pieces, we want to cut on a diagonal like this. So just pop it onto your trimmer and line up, so hopefully you can see, line up the 2 points at the top and bottom of your little cutting groove there, and we're just going to cut that in the center. Now I like to start in the middle so that I can go cut up and down. If you start from the top up here, you could catch that little point there and just rip it or move it around up there. So that's not what we want. So just cut these 2 pieces in half so that we end up with 4. Okay, so I'm just going to do my second one here. So the 2 points line up with the groove in your scoreboard where your cutter is going to go. Start in the center and go up and then down, and it'll give you a nice smooth cut. There we go. Okay, so 2 of these will go into your little pocket, into your little card at the front, and 2 will go on the outside of your main card. Right, so grab your scoring tool now. We want to score these. So I'm just going to grab mine. Now, if you have this trimmer, flip your board over so that you've got that little high edge there, so you've got something to push up against like that. If you don't have one of these trimmers, that's fine, you can still do it. We're just going to line up one of these edges with the 1/4 inch mark. Okay, so just a 1/4 inch and you score down into your little groove. So just on the two sides there, so 1/4 inch on one side, turn it round, and 1/4 inch on the other side. So you'll end up with two sides that have got a 1/4 inch score line there. You see those all right? Okay, so go ahead and do that on all the other three. So 1/4 inch, so down one side there, 1/4 inch, turn it round, and do another 1/4 inch down there. That's it. So carry on with that, and we'll do all four at the same time. So remember, if you don't have a board like this, you can still use your trimmer board with the groove down there. Just line it up with 1/4 inch and score down in that groove. Okay, so bring it right round. Oh, what am I doing? This way. Nope, this way. So line it up with 1/4 inch and score down in that groove. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to move my board out of the way. Right, so to fold these up now, what we want to do is we want to grab our scissors and we want to cut this top corner out. So I'm just going to cut like that, so that little top corner is coming out there. Don't worry about if it doesn't look pretty or anything, because we're not actually going to see that. We're just going to fold these down like that. Okay, so go ahead and do that on the very tip of each of those. So there's another one there. So you're just cutting that little tip off, really. You could just go straight across if you prefer like that. So there we go. So all four of those now have got that little tip at the top folded, cut off. So what we want to do now is fold on those score lines so they get folded at the back. And then these little bits here we're just going to cut off there. So just cut along there and cut those off. So you end up with this nice little triangle with these two little flaps at the back. Okay, so carry on and do that to all three of the other ones. So fold them back, and just cut those little points off there. There we go. And the last one here, fold on the score lines, and then just cut those little bits off. Here we go. Right, so we have four of those ready to go. Now we only need two for the moment to go inside our little card here. Just like that. Okay, so just give me one moment, everybody. Sorry, I just needed a little gift card to show you how to put these on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape along those two little flaps there, and then I'm going to pop one up there and the other one down the bottom there. So I've actually got these two touching at the points. Oh, Angela, you would be a godsend if you could do that. I would be so grateful, but I don't want to put you out or have no blades for you. Okay, so these pieces here, I'm just going to put a bit of tape on there. Now I am using tape on this because even though it's something that does get moved around, or like gets moved and touched a lot, normally I would use glue, but because we're trying to position them in a very particular way, I just wanted to make sure I could take them off if I needed to remove them. Okay, so if you have like a credit card or something just to help you position these on the inside of your card, that's great. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that one about there at the top and that one down there, and just check that that's going to be big enough. Yep. So if you have a little gap at the top here, just at the top there, it's probably about 1/4 inch, then this one here, we're going to line up those 2 points like that. So you've got a little gap down the bottom there, and that'll be just perfect for a little gift card in there. So go ahead and pop that one down. So just use tape again. Please use glue though if you prefer the glue. I just thought if I got it wrong, which I had done a few times when I was designing this, I just wanted to be able to move them if I had to. There we go. Okay, so just those two tips there are going to just touch each other and just make sure it's nice and square. There we go. So you've now got this little pocket to put a little gift card in. Right, so we want to put a bit of pattern paper on this. So this pattern paper now we're going to cut down to 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So whatever pattern paper you've got left over, cut 2 pieces measuring 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So you end up with 2 little squares. There we go. Okay, sorry about this. I can't cope with that fluffy. I'm going to get rid of the fluff. That's better than it was. Okay, so these 2 pieces now we're going to cut on an angle again. So remember the points at the top and bottom of your blade groove there. Start in the center and go up and go down. We don't want to catch that top piece, so that's why I've started in the center. That's it. And we want to do that to the other piece as well. So we've got 4 pieces to put onto our little triangles. So again, top and bottom, nicely lined up in that groove, up and down. When I do get new blades, I'm probably just going to do this out of habit from now on. Been doing it for a long time now. And you're all going to get sick to death of me talking about my blade. It's become a real focus point of my life at the moment. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we'll go back to our little pocket card. Now one of these is going to stick onto there, so it's going to be a little tiny bit smaller than our white paper, and another one goes on the bottom there. So go ahead and glue those down or stick those down, whichever you prefer. Oh, you're a lifesaver, Angela. Thank you so much. You could glue these ones down because it's unlikely you'll have to try and remove these or reposition them. So glue is a little bit faster, and it does stick a lot, it does stick better. So just pop that in the center of your triangle there, so you've got a little bit of a white border around there. And the other one goes down there. There we go. Okay, just on there like that. Great. There we go. So now we've got that little pocket there that you can slide a gift card in and out of easily for someone if you want them to have one. So you've got a bit of ribbon in your kit there. I just need to find mine. So this bit of ribbon is just going to go around the outside of that little pocket, that little card there. So I've just put a little bit of glue or tape on the back, just underneath my butterfly, and then you can just tie that into a little bow. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on the back there, just below the butterfly. And I'm just going to pop my ribbon onto there. There we go. So now you can tie that off to the side and make that into a little bow. I like to do my bows upside down so that I can, my tails go down the right way. So I always do my bows upside down. So see how the tails are going down that way now? So I always do bows upside down when I'm doing them like that, and that gives me a nice bow facing the right way. There we go. Okay, so that one's all finished. So just pull the butterflies up. Alright, so we'll go ahead and finish this one now. So with your pattern, your main card there, we're going to close that up, and these ones are going to sit on the front like this, but this time we're going to have to use our card to show us where to put those in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some tape on the back of these ones and get them ready to go. So if you want to do that now. So I'll do both of them while I've got my tape here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape off the back now of just one of them for the moment, and I'm going to just position it on top of my card like that. Now I want to have a bit of a gap at the top and the side here, just so that it's easy to get in and out. So I don't want to push it flush up against my card. I just want to have it out a little bit. So I'm just going to keep it stuck on, I'm just going to keep it positioned there, and I'm just going to pop that down on the front of my card like that, so I know about where I want that to go. Okay, so you want to do the same thing, whoops, you want to do the same thing with the one at the bottom. So this one, I'm just going to take the tape off, and I'm just going to pop it onto the, just hold it onto the bottom of my card so I can position it in the right place. So I'm just going to pop it on there, so don't make it too tight on your card or it's going to be a bit hard to get in and out. There we go. So I want it to go about there. Great. So you should have those two stuck down now. And just make sure that your little card can get in and out okay. Just like that. So this card's going to hold your card shut. Okay, so those two little triangles that you did earlier, we're just going to stick those down onto those pieces there as well. There we go. So that one's going to go on that one there. Here we are. And that last one goes on that bottom one there. Great. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our little pockets done there. That's going to slip into there like that. Now we just have to do our decorating. So these little fellows that you cut out earlier, so one of these is going to stick down to there. Now you can use double-sided tape or glue. Just make sure that you're not gluing this down to your little card here. So you just want to glue it on that bit there. So I might just put it straight onto that bit. So that one's going to go down the bottom there. And this little one's going to go right at the top there. So it's actually a fairly quick and easy good card to make if you wanted to give someone a gift voucher or some, you know, just a little, you could even put a little photo in there if you like. There you go. All done. So now you have your little gift card there, and this one has the opening there. You could, if you wanted to, you could just make this a blank piece of paper and you could just do your writing on there if you wanted, just to give it a little bit of something special. So that's our card for today. Now I do have the cards for the next 2 weeks to show you. So we have this card here. So this is pretty much a men's card here. So that one, I've got little metal embellishments up there. We've got little brads, and I'm going to show you how to do these little spiral flowers without a die. It's very, very easy. So what that does is that just sits up as an easel. So these little cogs here are holding that up. But to make it more different, which I love to do, I've made this into a little album. So you could actually put little photos inside there, or you could do little sentiments or whatever you want. So this actually closes with some brads like that. Okay, so that's, I'm not sure if that's next week or the week after, but we've got that one. And our last one we've got here is this one here. So this one opens up quite a lot. Whoops. So this one opens up. It's got lots of little zigzag folds, and when it's standing up you can see all the little bits and pieces. But it also has a little bookmark here. So this little piece here, I'll show you how to fold all that. It's just slipping on there, and you can actually use it on a book. So you just pop that onto your book page and it will show you where you finished reading. So that's the next couple of weeks worth there. So if you want to purchase any of these, we do have them on our website and they're ready to go, so we can start sending them out first thing Monday. So if you buy the two together, you'll save on postage, and we can get these done together next week. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope wherever you are it's sunny and it's a little bit warmer, and just have a great time. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.